how many videos he got versus me. I tell him the same thing. So, long time ago. We don't really need to talk too much about those days.
Does he get open on you a lot?
He says he does, but not any today. Definitely not today. Maybe freshman year at Gio when he weighed 175, and Kamari really was a little bit more polished coming out of high school, but not today, not anymore. So that's a good thing. Now I'm playing. Kamari is a real good route runner, all around type of guy.
You guys good? Go ahead.
Gio, I guess we could just start off with, what Kamari brought up as far as, the expectations now that you guys have gotten the wins, you clinched a division championship. Yeah, you're going to the ACC championship, but there's still, I guess, a lot of meat left on the bone for you guys to go out there and achieve. What have those conversations been like this week, going into this Georgia Tech game and beyond?
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing is none of us are really satisfied yet. Last year we really got embarrassed just from 6 and 7. I mean, that's just horrible. So I think a lot of guys are still like, this is kind of a statement year for us to build upon for the next couple of years. But I think just a lot of guys are embarrassed about how we played last year. We took it personal, and all the things that were said about us, we say don't look at it, but you hear it all the time. So it's just personal. We want to finish the year right. Last 2 games of the regular season, going to the championship, into a bowl game, and just see where we can get from there. But I just think a lot of guys are taking it personal, and none of us are really satisfied with where we are. We still feel like we got a lot to lose, so I just think just keep out that mentality. We'll keep doing good things.
Was Georgia Tech the low point last year?
As far as I definitely say Virginia Tech was the first low point. Obviously, going in there, we had really high hopes for where we would be going into the season, and then Georgia Tech was kind of like a smack in the face, like wow, like we had a lot of looking in the mirror to do, but it was definitely one of the low points this season.
Does that performance help you guys now, or was it so long ago?
It definitely, the fact that we lost by so much, and Georgia Tech's a really good team, but the fact that we lost, with all the guys we had and some of the expectations we had going into the game, it just really, it does help us this year going like, look, we can't just walk in and just expect to win just because guys we have, the talent we have, with the coaching we have. We got to actually put in the work, take every game serious, and like I said, you kind of got to take it personal.
How's the confidence within the defensive players? 9-1, you got better every game. The defense has made plays to win the game, you might as well say. Now, how's the atmosphere amongst the guys?
So one thing I'll say on the defense, we have so many leaders, whether they start, whether they don't start, guys that just want to step up, guys that don't want to let their teammates down. That's been the biggest thing. I think that's why we've improved so much, because yeah, you could do it for your coaches and you could do it for yourself, but I think the biggest thing guys have learned is doing it for the guy next to you, not wanting to let the guy next to you down, or you want to show him how well you play for him is the biggest thing we've done. Because at the end of the day, we are all we've got. So as long as we keep fighting for each other, fighting for the man next to us, it won't matter what anybody else says. As long as we get the W, as long as we know we're giving 100% effort every play.
Gio, as you've sat back and looked at it, with you guys' defense, how in the world have y'all managed to come up? Like you shut them out in the fourth quarter the other night, Wade. It seems like these second halves, you've managed to, even if it's going the wrong way, you managed to turn it around and figure it out and get it going the right way. Like it's like week after week. How have you guys managed to do this?
So Coach Chiz has a saying before each game, 40 minutes of pricks. So just 40 minutes of nonstop domination, just trying to outwill our opponent each time we play. And it might not start as well as we want, or it might not finish as well as we want, but I think the 40 minutes of prick, 40 minutes of nonstop domination, trying to go as hard as you can, like I said, for the guy next to you. Just trying to do that and making sure that each person doing their job and each person doing what they're supposed to do. I think that's kind of been the reason we've been able to be successful in the second half. And then going into the second half, during halftime, we got guys stepping up, guys leading. And Coach Chiz has just been such a highlight, a positive influence at halftime. He's not yelling or screaming at us. He's kind of just bigging us up. Here's what we did well. Here's what we're not doing well. We fixed this, and nobody else can play with us. They can't compete with us. So let's do these things well, and everything else will take care of itself. So just having that positive influence and then having also other guys be able to talk, step up, and lead has definitely been a big influence for us.
Does he ever yell at you guys, Coach Chisholm?
Nah, Coach Chiz, he hasn't yelled from what I've seen. Coach Chiz, I love him. He's definitely a positive influence. When you got somebody like that who has so much pedigree, so much ranking and all that stuff, and he doesn't feel like he has to yell at guys who just came off a 6 and 7 year, one of the worst ranked defenses. He doesn't have to yell at us to get us going. He knows that we're self-motivated. We do it for him. We do it for our teammates. It definitely is a respectable thing that he doesn't feel like he just has to scream at us to get going. And it just kind of shows, like you said, like the second half, just kind of shows the fight and the determination we had just to keep getting better each week.
I believe these numbers are right, excuse me, but I think in the 40 points you gave up in the fourth quarter since then, I don't think you've given up 40 points combined in the fourth quarter in the 8 games since then. I have to go back and check her. It's very close. 4 of the fourth quarters since then, you shut the other team out. When you start stacking those kinds of things up, does it give you the confidence during the course of the game that when things are not going well, that you can flip it and they eventually could go well?
Yeah, obviously, we don't want to have to wait till the fourth quarter to get things going, but it is in our heads that, like, look, guys, we've done this before, we've turned it around before, so that thought of never giving up because we will win this game. It's like never, man, are we going to win this game? It's like, nah, we're going to win this game. Like, there's no doubt in our minds, but obviously we want to flip that notion of us being maybe a second half or a fourth quarter team to just being able to play all 4 quarters and being able to just stop guys the whole game. And obviously you're not going to stop a team because they have scholarship players too. They practice just like us and they want to win just like us. But to be able to 40 minutes of just doing your job and doing everything right is just kind of our goal each time.
Who yells, Gio? If Gene doesn't yell, who yells? Cedric? Somebody's got to yell.
Coach Warren, but
Okay.
it's a positive yell. It's a yelling of, man, I know you guys are much better than this. And then Power Echoes. Power Echoes is a yellow, but Power Echoes is just a very passionate guy. And it comes off as, nobody's yelling, and it comes off as like, what is this dude doing? Like, why is he talking to me like this? It's all like, come on, guys, I know y'all are better than this. I know we can do this. Y'all have done it before, and I know y'all are good, so let's lock in, let's focus kind of yell. And I've yelled, I'm pretty quiet most of the time. I kind of like to sit back, but I know Coach Warren challenged me at the beginning of the year to kind of be vocal, and it's called me out when I haven't been. So I've even been yelling sometimes, like, and kind of getting guys grills just to kind of get them going and just get me going too, because that also helps me when I get going.
What does it take to get Power stirred up? Because it seems like he reaches a point where it's like, I have to say something.
I don't think it takes anything to get Power started. Power was probably, we practice usually I get here around 5:40. Power's usually probably one of the first people here, and Power looks juiced up every time you see him. I mean, you should see his facial expressions before the game. Just like, man, like, I feel bad for whoever has to block this dude or go head up with this dude, because he's always ready to go. He's just somebody you love to have in your locker room.
What's the challenge in preparing for Georgia Tech? They're going to use 2 different quarterbacks, I think, because Sims is not going to play this week, but the other 2 have been, I guess, rotating. So what is the challenge they have to prepare for 2 different guys? And are they very different or are they similar?
I think the challenge is, with Sims, if we would have had to prepare for Sims, which you never know. The challenge is always one guy can run, one guy can't, or one guy can one guy is set up for these plays and this guy is set up for these plays. So kind of just knowing what plays you can get with each guy and what are his strengths and weaknesses, and who does he go to a lot, who is he going to target a lot, who is his comfort. So I just think that's the biggest thing, just kind of understanding the comfortability of each guy. Like when we played Notre Dame, we knew that was the quarterback's real first start. We knew he was going to target 87. So just trying to understand who guys are going to go to and kind of trying to see how they're going to attack us with each quarterback. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, along those lines, Gio, with the 2 quarterbacks from Georgia Tech, I think Miami picked them off 4 times, if I got that right. Is there anything you've seen from those 2 that, I don't know, looked similar to like some of the things that Sam Hartman was running into? Because he had thrown all those picks leading into the game that you guys played, been sacked so many times. Are there any, I don't know, similarities when you study a quarterback that's been going through some turnover problems?
Yeah, I think with Hartman, Hartman's like so good. So when you see something like that, it's like kind of surprising. But I think with Hartman, NC State and Louisville, I think was able to pressure him so much that they were getting 2 guys in his face on the throw. Like there were some throws he was making off 1 foot, throwing to the side. So I think with Hartman, he's just getting a lot of pressure that he might not have seen as much. Just trying to attack the slow RPO mesh that they do. But I think with these guys, it's kind of just like maybe trying to learn the system. If you don't have reps at quarterback in a new system, it's kind of hard to really be able to pick up and see everything on the field when you're trying to really just get comfortable in seeing routes and seeing coverages. You can't see all the D linemen in front of you. So I don't think it's been as similar as what Hartman's been facing. I think it's just them trying to get comfortable in a starting role.
You guys good?
Yeah, good deal.
Thanks,
Good stuff, Gio. Appreciate it.